Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We have.
Now you're fine.
I'm Jason Berlin, and looks like we have 25 people on the call so far. This is amazing. I'm going to. I hate doing this, but I'm gonna mute everybody. You can absolutely unmute yourselves at any point and type up with any questions or comments you have. We should get more people on the call too. Probably in the next few minutes, people will straggle on. But yeah, awesome crowd. Thank you all for being here. There is a chat window that I'm going to ask you to open if you can. On the lower part of this Zoom window, you'll see a little word balloon that says chat under that. If you click on that, a little chat window opens up on the side, on the right side, and you can type messages into there. Hey, just like Sarah just did, and we can use that. I think with this many people on the call, it's probably going to be better to do that than than for everyone to ask their questions all at once. I'll also stop at different points and ask if anyone has questions.
I don't have a chat menu, but that's no big deal.
Oh, okay. Do you see where, have you found that place to click for the chat? It's a little word balloon looking icon. Got it. Hey, okay. Excellent. Yeah, so that will be helpful. So usually I go around and ask everybody to tell me their name and where they're from and whether they're with any group or just a lone wolf adventurer. And okay, Iris found it. Excellent. I don't think I'm going to be able. Hello, Jen. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that with this many people on the call. It's kind of it's amazing. It's a record breaker. This call, 45 people signed up. I love that. That is a really good sign. Unfortunately, we have to change that part, which is really helpful. It would be great if people wrote in the chat, though. If you write your name, where you're from, and if you're with an organization or just on your own. I would love to see that, and I can actually send that chat transcript around to everybody afterwards. Because one of the most useful things about these calls is that different groups can see who is on the ground doing the organizing and where everyone's from, and circles overlap. That's really good for organizers, it's a force multiplier. All right, here we go. Getting some good responses in the chat already. If anyone's just joined the chat, if you can activate that by clicking the word balloon icon that says chat on the bottom of the window, the Zoom window, and it'll open up a little sidebar and you can type whatever you need to in there. Excellent. Jay Wills says, I've been on these calls before, and now with Doc Gooding 3 times. Now the Democrats at the Red Rocks want me to train others here in the Verde Valley. Awesome. So I wanted to review this part before I take the train the trainer call. Julie Wills, thank you. That is terrific. Great idea. Thank you so much for doing that. Rhonda from Swing Left Santa Cruz. Yeah, Santa Cruz represent. Tom and Char from Scottsdale. That's awesome. You got Brett from Santa Cruz also working with Swing Left. Yes, Swing Left is the best. Thank you. Julie from Sedona, awesome. Michelle from Santa Cruz, also terrific. Hi, I'm Dana, 16, and I want to register voters with my Democrats club at school. Dana, you're amazing. Thank you for being on this call. That is awesome. You're about 30 years ahead of me. Your political development. That is awesome. You're great. This will absolutely help with that. Sarah with Swing Left in Sister District in Marin, California. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Elaine Downing in Lake Havasu. I haven't pronounced that out loud. I've only heard people pronounce it. Havasu.
It's Havasu.
Havasu. Damn it. Havasu. Now I know. Thank you. Precinct committee person with Mojave County District 3. Awesome. Also Carolyn Blackmore in Lake Havasu. Havasu? Havasu. Havasu.
Yep.
Havasu. Emphasis on the first syllable. Excellent. Another PC, precinct committee person. Awesome. Lucia from Swing Left in Ashot. Awesome. Mark from Santa Cruz, Swing Left in Arizona 2 weeks ago doing voter edge and canvassing. That's wonderful. Thank you. Iris, Santa Cruz. A lot of Santa Cruz people here. That's awesome. Pamela Fife, terrific. Swing Left, Santa Cruz. Judy from Scottsdale. Mary from Swing Left, Santa Cruz. Greer from Mountain View, California. Worked extensively on the Josh Harder campaign to get him elected here in California via Swing Left in the campaign. Thank you for that. Want to connect with folks organizing in Arizona, looking to support remotely and then travel there to register voters. That's fantastic. Thank you. This is a perfect place for that. Renee Winter from Santa Cruz, Swing Left. I'm also, Julie Wills says I'm also writing postcards to voters, which is why I'm looking down at my desk. Julie, oh my God. You're doing activism while you're doing activism. That's amazing. Your muscles have muscles. Awesome. Beautiful. What a beautiful crowd. Amazing. So we're up to 30 while we've been reading this. That's fantastic. I am, let's see. Hi, Timmy from Santa Cruz. Wonderful. Excellent. And if anyone's just popped on, we're just writing in the chat our name, where we're from, if we're with an organization. This is great. This is a mighty activist army we have on this call already. So I am, and you can write it in there if you haven't yet, that's fine. I am Jason Berlin with Field Team 6. And yeah, I was I apologize if anyone's heard this before, but yeah, I was a TV writer for 18 years. And then Trump happened and I needed to do something. I didn't know what it was. And so I volunteered with Swing Left. That really appealed to me because Swing Left I had heard was laser focused on flipping the House and making concrete change. So got involved with Swing Left, found out there was a thing called organizing. I mean, I knew the term community organizing, knew that Obama had been an organizer. That's really all I knew about it. So seeing what it was, doing some canvassing, doing some voter registration, and learning that I could channel my Trump rage into positive conversations with strangers, and that could change the world. That changed my life. You know, I can just be friendly to strangers and it does something and makes me feel amazing. And, you know, that's action is the best therapy, and I need a ton of therapy. So I, you know, just started pouring myself into Swing Left, became a regional organizing coordinator for Southern California. And after a year of doing that, doing everything I could to flip the 5 swing districts of Southern California by registering Democrats. I got my first job with, hello, Rebecca from Santa Cruz. Awesome. Got my first paid political job with the California Democratic Party and with our army of volunteers, who I have to mention were 70 to 100% women, depending on the day. We were able to register over 6,000 progressive voters across those 5 swing districts and help flip all of them. And I can't say that without thanking all of you for being part of the resistance and for, you know, whatever you've done these last 3 years, every single shift of canvassing, voter edge, phone banking, text banking, postcarding, it all helped. It was all necessary. We needed to flip the House. We needed 23 seats. We got 40, almost double. it was the most Democrats swept into the House after a midterm since just after Watergate, tellingly. And that only happened, a ton of those races were won by field margins. That is the amount that we can affect these races by all those actions in the field, from voter registration and canvassing on down. So that was all of you, and thank you for saving the world. If no one's thanked you for that yet, let me be the first. We have to, just like we can't normalize the horrible news that comes out of this administration every day, we also can't normalize the epic historic victory that we all together won last November, 1 year ago. We can't normalize it because now we got to save the world again. You know, from the foothold of the House, we have to take back the Senate and the White House, and we're going to do that. So after the midterms were over, my job with the party ended. But you know, it seemed crazy to just stop doing this because the real battle just started. You know, this is now the biggest battle of our lifetimes, the battle of 2020. So my co-organizer and I founded Field Team 6 with our mission, Registered Democrats Save the World, so that we could continue this training, that the lessons, the quirky, weird, useful stuff we learned by doing 15,000 hours of this would not just be lost. And then, you know, next campaign, they hire someone totally new who has to make all the same mistakes again. We needed to keep building on what we learned and go national. So since, you know, our vision is by by registering Democrats in targeted areas that need the most, we aim to grow the House majority, flip the Senate, and take the White House in 2020. We're not going away after 2020. That's like, you know, once you earn your black belts, that's when the real learning begins, you know? So we're gonna keep on going and keep defeating Republicans wherever they are. But this is all of our mission, you know, for 2020. Since we got out into the field, just a brief overview of where we are. Since we got back out into the field in March of this year, we've built 18 chapters in 7 battleground states. And we're looking to get into 4 more states as soon as possible. So we have a total of 11 crucial battleground states. The states that we are in right now are, of course, Arizona, California, where we started, Maine. I'm sorry. Okay. Hoping she wouldn't do that. This may be my wife. Hang on one second. I'm ridiculous. Work with me, baby. Come on. Here we go. She doesn't know how many people are on this call. No respect. Yes, so the states we're in. She interrupted me right in front of this, in the middle of this. I mean, okay, so California, Arizona, Maine, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Florida, and as of last week, North Carolina. We got 7 now. The 4 we need to be in. And this is great because, you know, if you know anybody in any of these states, please introduce me via email. You know, anyone who might be interested in registering voters. All we need are 1 or 2 brave souls in any state to start our first chapter there. So the 4 that we need to be in are Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Georgia. I'm going to put those in the chat right now. So, you know, because they went by kind of fast. Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Georgia. Also, if you know anyone in the 7 states we're in, which I'm also going to write down in the chat, let me know about them. We also need to bolster our efforts in all these states. California, Arizona, Maine, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Florida, North Carolina. There we go. I don't have to look at a list because it's all I think about. So, yes. What we do, well, just zooming in on Arizona. Why Arizona is crucially important. Okay, first of all, for the White House. Um, Trump won in Arizona by only 3.5 points. That is absolutely overcomable. That's about 130 some thousand voters, the deficit between Democrats and Republicans. We've already, in the few months we've been in Arizona, registered over 2,000. That's pretty huge, you know, and we're just scaling up now. We're just getting started. So we can recover a good percentage of that deficit. You know, we also have the wind at our backs. Every day that Trump does something horrible, he's, you know, our greatest recruiting tool. So we're harnessing this crazy period in history where so many people are rightfully outraged about this garbage monster in the White House, to fill our pockets with Democrats, you know, for a rainy day, and turn Arizona blue for the presidency. Below that, for the Senate, Arizona is a must-win state for us to take back the Senate. Martha McSally is someone who has never won a race for the Senate. We beat her last November. It used to be that the words, you know, female, bisexual, Democratic senator and Arizona did not go together in the same sentence. Now they do. Arizona said no to Martha McSally, but she came back like Voldemort when the governor appointed her to fill McCain's spot, of course. So, you know, she's the candidate so nice, we get to beat her twice. She's got to go. Mark Kelly, of course, is a super strong Democratic candidate, husband of Gabby Giffords, former astronaut and fighter pilot. He is also a twin, so it's 2 for 1. You know, one of them could be giving a speech on the Senate floor while the other one's raising money in Sedona. Great candidate to have, though. You know, Mark Kelly really has an amazing shot. He's polling a little ahead of her or neck and neck, depending on which polls you read. He's raised, I think, the most money of any Senate candidate in the country. And really, we have a great shot to take that Senate seat and have Arizona have 2 Democratic senators. That will be amazing. That's less than a year from now. We got to do that. For the House, there's the 2nd district that you amazing Arizonan organizers flipped this last time to Ann Kirkpatrick, the Democrat. 2nd district, you know, around Tucson area, going down to the border. And in the 1st district, we have Tom O'Halloran, who kept that district Democratic, but you know, won by 7 points, so could use more Democrats there. And then down to LDs, which to all the Californians who maybe do not habla LD, legislative district. That is a district that has 2 assembly members and 1 senator. Is that right? Did I get that right? I think that's right. Excellent. And there are at least a few that can flip that we need to be working on flipping. 28, LD20, and LD6, I believe, are the top 3 flippable LDs. And so we're trying to, any Democrat we register in Arizona is golden because they help us with the statewide races for the White House, the presidential race, and the Senate race. But we always, you know, try to maximize our bang for the buck and register Democrats in these, you know, flippable LD, and these, you know, flippable LDs also. All right, so that's the national view. That's the Arizona view. Why, you know, why we need to go to Arizona. Arizona really is maybe tied with Wisconsin for most important state in the union to register Democrats in. So yes, private message about possibly setting up something in Macomb County. That is terrific. Awesome. Yes, let's talk more about that after this. Yes, 6, 20, and 28. That's right. And let me know if I'm wrong. I'm absolutely open to that, you know, or if you have something to add, please definitely let us know. So yes, what we do is high traffic area or hotspot voter registration. It is the #1 most direct, effective way to fight Trump and the GOP. best way to change the balance of power in any purple state or district is just registering more Democrats. There are a ton of good-hearted people out there who have not registered at all. Young people who are on college campuses; those are our number one hotspots that we go to. There's really a limitless supply of good-hearted people to register. We just have to get out there and talk to them. All activism in general is just talking to strangers. That's what it comes down to. It turns out that's how you change the world. It's that ancient and simple and challenging because it's talking to strangers. It's public speaking is many people's greatest fear after death, and this is directly speaking to the public. It's public speaking. It turns out, though, it's not hard, and it's super rewarding and cathartic and satisfying and effective. So that's what we do. We are an anti-table organization. We don't sit at a table, wait for people to ask us to dance. We walk around with a clipboard and a smile and talk to everyone we can. And that said, you can always go at your own pace. And if you see someone you don't want to talk to, don't talk to them. That's fine. One of the good things about this is no one will ever complain the person with the clipboard did not talk to them. So you can choose your conversations, ramp up, as you're comfortable. Another thing that separates us from every other voter reg organization is, while we go out of our way to be respectful and positive and upbeat with everyone we talk to, no matter how Republican they are, we also proudly wear our colors, so we might wear a resist hat, might wear a Trump with a line through it pin, or a liberal looking t-shirt. This is, it's a t-shirt I wear every day of my life. Field Team 6 t-shirt. It's not liberal looking yet because people don't know who we are, but give it a little while. But you might wear an Obama shirt or something that says Democrat on it, or March for Our Lives, or Moms Demand Action, or any one of those things, and these, let people know. They give you a progressive force field, and so most Republicans just won't walk up to you to begin with. What we also do is, instead of, we're liberal in what we say too. So we're progressive, whatever word you prefer. But instead of saying something like, "Are you registered to vote?" which is boring, or even worse, "Excuse me, have you moved since the last time you're registered to vote?" It's so long that people, they're walking by, they're gone. We might say something more like, "Excuse me, miss, could you help me save the world from Trump?" Something like that. Really, it cuts to the stakes. I did this for months, maybe a year, like just agonizing over like how to. I'm a writer, so how to like distill what we're saying to something shorter and more punchy. And when I happened upon that and just started trying that out, it really got people's attention a lot better. It really harnesses, this historic moment that we're in, harnesses people's outrage and really get so. And of course, if you don't like that sentence, don't worry. There's a million ways to start a conversation. You don't have to use that at all. You can. I'll get more into like ways to start a conversation later. But those are two of the ways that we're really different. We walk around and we're proudly progressive. We're proud of our values, and also one of our values is that we respect everyone, no matter what their political opinions. So we're positive to everybody. What our voter drives look like in general? You will go to the base camp, basically just our meeting place for that voter drive. we try to have it at a good coffee shop, or at least somewhere where there's good parking, coffee, and bathrooms, the three requirements for human life. Coffee also helps a lot with extroversion. You know, like if I drink enough coffee, I can't help but talk to strangers. And, you know, we like to take care of our people. So after you settle in, get your, you know, quadruple shot. Every event starts with a training so that no experience is necessary. You can always, if you forget everything I say tonight, it's fine. We'll have a 20-minute training at the beginning of every single event. And if you want to bring along a friend at the last minute, great. They don't need to have any experience. It's fine. We'll answer all their questions. Once you're trained, we will have clipboards for everybody with voter registration forms and maybe a sweet sticker like that. You know, maybe not. You know, might be some of our clipboards just say we register voters or something. Voters register to vote here. You know, this is very direct. You know, but any kind of signaling you can have, register to vote is usually what it says in the back of our clipboards. Any kind of signaling like that really helps because people are walking by quickly. They may have to just read who you are in a second, you know, literally. So that all helps. So yeah, so we'll give you everything you need. Clipboards, pens, maybe some sunscreen if we're feeling generous. And then we will deploy you, dramatic word for send you to a hotspot. And we're very lucky in the Phoenix metro area and also Tucson metro area to have a lot of great colleges to send people to. Those are our top spots where we get the best numbers and have the best conversations. So once we've exhausted community colleges, then we'll go to the bigger colleges. Those are also great. Once all colleges are exhausted, if they are, or if say it's a weekend event and colleges are kind of dead, then we may you know, send people to well, courthouses during the week. Those are also dead on the weekend. So after that, we go to you know, if there are any big events, there are transportation centers, DMVs, libraries are sometimes great, farmers markets, things like that. Sometimes parking lots of Mexican market or Walmart Supercenter or Costco can be great. And yeah, you'll go out there, talk to everyone you can, everyone you want to, you know, see how many people you can register, how many good conversations you can have in about 2 hours or so. And then come back to base camp, turn in any completed forms you have, tell us how that hotspot was, you know, if it was great or horrible, so we can, you know, hone our strategy game over time. And then go home with a just unbelievable self-esteem for a week because you've done something amazing. So yeah, are there any, I'll get into some nitty gritty like techniques or like talking to people and how we do this. I'll zoom in on that a little bit, but any questions about any of this so far? You can unmute yourself and say it out loud or put it in the chat, whatever you want.
How are you organized? So specifically, if we want to say I'm interested in Arizona and that's where I want to connect, do you have your own representative who's focused on Arizona, or how are you doing that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for bringing that up. We have some wonderful organizers. We have Richard Gooding, Doc is his nickname. He's our field director for the Maricopa County area that, you know, includes the Phoenix metro area. And another guy, Gil Weir is his name. Sorry, he is our field director for Southern Arizona in the Tucson area. And so if you'd like to go to either of those areas, they can hook you up with whatever you need. If you even just want to go out there, you and a friend, or you alone, you know, it's better with a friend if you can, or a small or huge group, whatever you like. They can hook you up, train your group, and give you clipboards and forms you need, and you can turn them into them in the end. So they make it super easy. It's really, really helpful that that there's such good organizers, that there are 2 field directors in Arizona. Yeah, so we try to be, Field Team 6 tries to be a full service shop, an instant voter drive, just add you. So if any of you after this call want to do a voter drive, we can help you out with every step of the process, from figuring out what day of the week and what time of day you should have it. I need some water. To where to have your base camp, what hot spots to go to, all of that. We'll help with all of that. We can get your event on our calendar if you would like it to be. If you'd like us to help recruit for that, we can do that. If you want to go with a big group, or if you, sorry for the nauseating background here, just have to get some water. Or if you want it to be smaller, that's also fine. And we can, we could cap attendance when we put the event on our calendar, so that if you want, no more than 5 people to come, we can do that. We can make the event private or public, and yeah, just help with everything, even down to after the event, where to turn the forms into. Let's say you're doing this in Sedona, we can help you with that, even if we don't have a field director there.
I like the idea of going down with a small group. And you're saying that Tucson and Phoenix are the two main areas that you're focusing on?
They're the 2 areas that we have field directors in, so we can really help people and facilitate there. But if you want to do it somewhere else, we can also help with that, and let you know. You can either get forms from someone if you're passing through Phoenix on your way to somewhere, we can work all those details out.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Jason, I need to understand, so you don't have specific events already scheduled that we plug into. We organize our own events?
It's a combination. We also do have specific events planned that are coming up.
Thank you.
Sorry. I'm actually going to put the link in the chat for all our upcoming events and trainings. And there it is. And I know that we're having more, I believe, this month. And I know we have at least 1 or 2 events in December, I believe, in both Phoenix and Tucson. And in January, we're going to have a huge voter drive where we're trying to register 1,000 in a week. And that's in Phoenix. So yeah, we need all hands on deck for that one. And we have another big one in February after that. So in Phoenix. So we got plenty of events coming up, and if you'd like to start more, you can absolutely do that. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, if you'd like to join existing events, you absolutely can do that. That's a wonderful option. And you can just sign up for them on that link. That's our events feed. You can also access, you can find those events on our website, fieldteam6.org. And I'm going to put, here's a link in the chat for all the important Field Team 6 links. You can find them all in this one spot. Also put our website in here, just so you have it, fieldteam6.org. And I'm going to put my own contact information in there. You can contact me, phone, text, email at any point, and with any questions at all, and I can help with them or send you to someone who can. Yeah, we are here to help you do this. It's yeah, and like I was saying, it's super satisfying. If you're doing it right, it should be really fun, and so many places don't do it right, don't give you the right training or context. So we're trying to fix that. Timmy wrote, I thought we were going to learn specifics today of Arizona registration. Yes, we absolutely are. We're about to get into that. So let me I can take more questions later, as many as you have. I'll be around here to take. Let me drill down into the nitty gritty of how to get people to talk to you while you're holding a clipboard. That's the challenge. And there are different ways of making it easier. One way is, just body language. If you're enjoying yourself, if you're having a good time, people can read that and they're more likely to talk to you for sure. If you can avoid wearing sunglasses and make eye contact, that's super helpful, So people kind of have to break your heart to just like walk on by and ignore you, Also, walking with someone a couple steps if they're walking somewhere, or walking backwards a couple steps if they're walking towards you, that's helpful. Just anything that lengthens the window of interaction a little bit can help start a conversation. And when people see a clipboard, they think something salesy is going to happen. So I try to be the opposite of salesy. Sometimes I experiment with how quietly I can talk and still communicate, but just to be real. That's it's only by connecting with people in a real conversation that we're going to galvanize our own people and bring independence over to our side. So it's all about just making a real connection. So yeah, I'm going to suggest different ways of starting a conversation. That's a challenge, and there's some ways are definitely more effective than others. I want you to take all my suggestions with a grain of salt. Use them as a guide. Your words will always be the most effective because they're most natural. So you'll experiment. First time you're out there, first 5 or 10 people you talk to, you're going to be a little nervous, and it's not in many people's comfort zone to begin with, but when you're done, it will be. So your first 5 or 10 people, you'll be thinking like, do I say good morning? I never say good morning. That sounds weird, just so you experiment, see what sounds most natural to you. Probably the weakest way to start is, are you registered to vote? It's passive, sounds boring. Little better than that is, can I register you to vote? Just more proactive. Can I? Mark Twain said the difference between the right and the wrong word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. That's so good. That's so true. You'll see, like, little differences in what you say make a big difference in what the outcome is. Excuse me, miss, can I register you as a Democrat today to vote by mail? That's even better, because now we're throwing out some identification, some screening, as well as vote by mail, which we should always be pushing. That's an election winner in itself. It drives up voting rates like crazy because it's so convenient. But yeah, what we're trying to do is 2 things: start a conversation, for sure, and second is screen people, just to ID them as some form of our friend, whether they are, an independent, right in the middle, who hates Trump, great, we need them, or all the way left to, my mom or Che Guevara, like anywhere on that spectrum, we need them. We need to register them. There are people. So yes, you can ask something as straightforward as, excuse me, sir, could I register you as a Democrat today to vote by mail? Throw that in if you can. The best I've found, most effective, is some variation of, excuse me, miss, can you help me save the world from Trump? These days, my favorite variation, I'm saying a lot of, excuse me, sir, can I register you to vote? I'm just trying to get rid of Trump, one voter at a time, and that introduces the word Trump a tiny bit later. It's, experiment, see what works for you. You can also approach people on the issues. It's not quite as attention grabbing, but it's perfectly fine to say, excuse me, sir, can you help me fight for civil rights today? Or can you help me fight for women's rights? Or, can you help me save the environment? Can you help me fight for affordable college? Or healthcare, any of those issues. And if they're interested, oh, hey, great. I'm registering Democrats to vote by mail. Are you a citizen? Good to throw in Democrats and vote by mail if you can. And go as seamlessly as you possibly can into that first question, are you a citizen? The more seamlessly, that's kind of an advanced, technique. I'm working on getting better at that myself. More seamlessly you can go into, are you a citizen? After the first, show of any interest, the more you deny them a little pause where they think, oh, I'm going to go play a video game, and you'll register more people that way. Yeah. So one last thing about IDing, so we're IDing people with, first of all, with what we're wearing and, and second of all, what we're saying. And both of those together are super effective. If you go to any of our drives, by the way, in Tucson or Phoenix, we will have these Trump with a line through them buttons for you to at least borrow. That's really helpful. Does some of the heavy lifting for you. So yeah, one last thing about IDing. Sometimes, people come at you in a crowd and you're like, oh, vote, can I register? Just save the world, Trump, vote, and you might wind up just saying to somebody, excuse me, sir, can I register you to vote? And he says, yeah, that'd be great. Okay, terrific. But I haven't ID'd him yet as any kind of progressive. So as I'm sidling up to him with my clipboard, I might throw out one last, oh, hey, that is great. Because it's just, so important that we beat Trump in 2020. Just give him one last chance to say, oh, what? No, I love Trump. Oh, hey, great. Hey, respect. Have a great day, man. And and I'm not waving because I'm dismissing him. I'm waving because in real life, he's always walking away at that point. That's just what happens for whatever reason. And if he does, this also never happens, but if he does say, but I'd still like to register to vote, then we're perfectly pleasant, and we say, okay, here you go. And you just take this form and we give them the form and say, okay, and just fill that out and, make sure to sign and date it and put a stamp on that and you're good. You'll be good. And that's our legal obligation to give a form for anyone, to anyone who asks for it. And it's also just polite, but yeah, we definitely give them the form. We're obliged to do that. We're not legally obliged to fill out the form or turn it in, nor should we, because our time is precious and we need to be out there registering Democrats and saving the world. That's our mission. Yeah. So yeah, Timmy, I hope that answers your question. We do need to give someone a form. Don't need to fill it out for them. And yes, so, but if we're wearing stuff like this and saying, some kind of IDing stuff, then it really, eliminates that problem the great majority of the time. So other good reasons to register someone to vote. They've moved since last time they voted. They want to change party. That happens sometimes. They would change their name because of marriage, or this happens with students a lot. They might say, yeah, oh yeah, no, I think I'm registered. Oh, hey, let's make sure right now. It takes 2 minutes. Most important election of our lives is coming up. Are you a citizen? Go into that, are you a citizen? And it can't hurt to re-register someone. It can only help. So I always err on the side of registering them. Also, the thinking being that when we register people, we're going to get a good full set of data, and we might get their, hopefully we do get their, phone number and email, which maybe they didn't put on their last registration, or maybe it's changed since then. So always good to do that. Also, another good reason to register someone is they're not registered to vote by mail. If all we do all day long is register existing Democrats to vote by mail, that's a great day. Like I said, it really drives up voting rates. And yeah, so we always want to aim for 100% vote by mail rate of everyone we register. In Arizona, for non-Arizonans, it's called PEVL, very cute, like Fruity Pebbles, PEVL, Permanent Early Voting List. It's the same as absentee voting in California. And yeah, it's right at the top of the form, which we will go over. So yes, one last thing before we go to the form. I always fill out the form myself for people, and I highly recommend you do too, just because it's going to be faster, more legible, and we're going to hit all the fields that we need to, whereas they, will often forget one or skip one that they can't really skip. of course, they need to sign it and date it, you know. But yeah, we'll fill the rest of it out for them. So yes, once we're filling it out, I'm going to go to the form and share my screen. Here we go. Getting a little better at this. That's my dog Willow barking on the balcony at someone using the public steps. She doesn't understand. They're public steps. They're within their rights. If I did that, people would arrest me. That's crazy. All right, here we go. So here's this beautiful form. This is the Maricopa County form. It's white. The one for Pima County and Tucson is beautiful warm yellow. If you have, you know, any Arizona form from any county is good to register anyone in the state. So if all you have are the yellow forms from Tucson and you happen to be in Phoenix, you can use these to register people. It's fine. You know, it'll take a tiny bit longer because it'll go down to Tucson and then they'll say, oh, okay, this actually needs to go back up to the Phoenix, you know, recorder, but they'll reroute it and it'll be fine. So this top half has some good information, but we don't need it. This bottom half is what we're going to be filling out. Please use a black pen. We will only have black pens at our voter drives. I've banished all blue pens from my life since I read that, out of terror that I will, you know, accidentally use one. First question, counterintuitively, is all the way at the bottom, just above the signature. We start down here with "Are you a citizen?" because it's a potentially disqualifying question. So we don't want to get through the whole form and then find out, you know? So yeah, as soon as anyone shows any interest at all, and they say, oh, maybe they just make a noise like that. Oh, hey, great, are you a citizen? You know, I just go right into it. If the answer is anything other than yes, do not register them. It can derail the naturalization process, which is a nightmare. Last thing we want to do. Yeah, excuse me. Yes. E. Downing says, so contrary to GOP rumor, non-citizens cannot vote. That's true. That's true. It turns out millions of non-citizens did not vote in the primary. It's hard enough getting citizens to vote, you know? So yeah, so make sure they're citizens, check yes. Will you be 18 years old on or before Election Day? Election Day for us is November 3rd, 2020, the general election. If they'll be 18 by then, great, check that. And then back up to the top and we'll do the rest in the normal order. So number one, permanent early voting list. I just say, would you like to vote by mail? It's super convenient. Yep, that's usually how that goes. If they say, I like going to the polls, you still can. You can bring your mail-in ballot to your polling place and skip the line and drop it off. So this doesn't take away any options. It just gives you another one, kind of a good insurance policy. You know, most people are like, okay, yeah, sure. Then good, great, that's a victory. Just checking that off. Below that, last name, then first name, just to be confusing. Then middle name. If there's a question, initial versus their whole middle name, I just say whatever is on their ID. Should match their ID. Below that, address where you live. This is your physical address. It can't be a P.O. box. It can be a women's shelter or a homeless shelter. I always ask any apartment number because a lot of people just forget to volunteer that. It's this tiny box over here that's easy to miss. Always ask any apartment number. If the person is experiencing homelessness, you can write the cross streets where they're staying. If there are some cross streets, you know, where they normally stay, you can write those cross streets in that box. And then on the lower right, in that big square, you can draw a little map and, you know, write which cross streets those are. And you can put an X on the corner that they stay on, you know. And the point of that is to get them registered to vote. So even if they don't manage to make it to their correct precinct, they'll at least be able to cast some kind of provisional ballot, you know. Below that, number 5, city, need that. 6, zip code, need that. And is that where you get your mail? I ask. If they say yes, great, you can skip number 7. Number 7 is just it's only if their mailing address is different than their physical address. You fill that out. So you usually skip that. You know, usually it's the same.
Jason, that could be a PO box though, too. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, very good point. If they do have a PO box, then that's where you put that. Absolutely. I see some good questions, and I'm going to get to them after we get through the form real fast. But I'm not ignoring you. 8 and 9, very important. Those are the ID, you know, identification, you know, that you need on the form. I try to get 8 and 9. You technically only need 1, but just out of an abundance of caution, I try to get last 4 digits of their social security number, number 8 and 9, their Arizona driver's license if they have it, or Arizona state ID. Try to get both. If they only have 1, that's fine. Let's say they're a student from out of state. They are legally entitled to vote if they're going to college in Arizona and, you know, would like to vote in Arizona. That's a federal law. They have the right to vote in Arizona. And in that case, you'll need the last 4 of their social. If you have someone who doesn't have an Arizona driver's license and can't remember their social, one trick, especially, you know, with young people, is because they haven't had to use it a lot. There's no reason for them to have memorized it. You know, I don't judge, but I do say, is there anyone you know who you could text, you know, to get that? I save them some dignity by not using the word mom, you know, but sometimes they can text their mom and get it while you're doing the rest of the form. So yeah, if they don't have either, it's not ideal, but don't despair. Keep on filling out the form, and we will, you know, whoever you turn the forms into at the end of the voter drive will reach out to this voter, you know, once or twice at least, and try to get one of these forms of ID before we turn it in. And the recorder who we do turn it into, if we can't get it, the recorder will reach out to them and try to get either one or the other. So yeah, go for 2. Can't get 2, get 1. Can't get 1, okay, you know, keep going anyway. Number 10 and 11, I haven't used yet, but you might. Optional tribal identification number and alien registration number. Those are just other forms of ID that can be used in place of driver's license. Below that, down to number 12, birth date, mandatory. State or country of birth always confuses people for some reason. That's, you know, I just say, were you born in Arizona? Yep, great, write Arizona. If it's a different state, you know, don't write Newark, write New Jersey, you know, different country, write that country, you know. Don't write USA. If it was USA, then we need the state that they were born in. Okay, on to number 14. Most nerve-wracking part of the form, right? So here, very important, party preference. We are not allowed, you know, during this part of the form to coerce anybody, nor would we want to. You know, we can't say, just be a Democrat. What's wrong with you? Don't make me cry. I swear to God, I'll cry in front of you. You know, we can think that, can't say that though. We can give them facts. So I don't hesitate. I just go right into it. And I say, so party preference. You know, the Democratic Party is the one major party that is fighting Trump and the Republicans. You know, I just start that basic. And then I let them know that, you know, so President Barack Obama was head of the Democratic Party. President Trump is head of the Republican Party. And then I go into facts about the Democratic Party platform. Just in broad strokes, I let them know that the Democratic Party is the only major party that is fighting for women's rights and civil rights and voting rights. Let them know that the Democratic Party is only major party fighting to expand healthcare instead of take it away. And Democrats it's okay for them to hear Democrats and Democratic Party a few times in a row. A Democratic Party is the one major party fighting to make college more affordable instead of raising interest rates on student loans, and fighting to save the environment instead of selling it to energy companies. And sometimes during that litany of non-insane ideas, people say, "Oh yeah, Democrat sounds good." If they say, no party, I don't care. What I say is, okay, that's fine. But if you'd like to, get your ballot in the mail to be able to vote for which Democrat's going to go up against Trump, then you'd have to be registered as a Democrat. Like to be able to choose between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and the rest. So I don't mention the words presidential preference election. That's 10 syllables. That's just going to lose a whole lot of people. And that is what it is. It's not a primary. It's a presidential preference election. There's an actual primary that's later in the summer. But yes, so I let them know in the most simple terms, if you want to get your ballot in the mail and be able to vote for which Democrat's going to go up against Trump, you have to be registered as a Democrat. A lot of people say, okay, yeah, sure, put me down as a Democrat. If they still say, nah, it doesn't matter, no party. Okay, that's fine. And then you check other, and we'll go on. That's, we've screened them with what we're wearing and what we're saying, and we've given them a little bit of education. We're going to trust them to make a good choice. We need independence. Absolutely. So we'll keep on going. If, of course, they say Democrat, hey, awesome, thank you, we need more of us, give them some positive reinforcement. That's always helpful. If at this point, despite our best attempts to ID them as some kind of our friend, they say Republican, then, we don't go, no, why? You can do that on the inside. But we stay positive, and we just give them the form, to say, okay, here you go. And you just need to, to sign that and sign it and date it and mail that in, and make sure to put a stamp on it, and you're good. But definitely we give them the form, we've done them a favor. We've filled out the entire form for them, basically, we've given them some good instructions and we let them mail it in, same with libertarian, because the libertarians and Republicans basically tend to vote the same in the end. But, truth is, the great majority of the time, that's not going to happen. It may never happen to you, and, we'll go on. We go on filling out the form. So, yes, assuming they're Democrat or other, great. Next is telephone number. And basically, I'll go over all of these fields, but really, after the party preference, all you need is phone number, email, and sign and date it, and you're good. So phone number and email they're both optional. It's not a deal breaker if someone won't give them to you, but we treat them like they're mandatory because, first of all, the recorder may need them if there's some information missing or illegible on their form to reach out to the voter. And second, we need them for, our phone banks and outreach efforts, or GOTV efforts, that takes an average of 7 touches to actually get an average voter to go to the polls. So yeah, totally important. So we get the telephone number. Next to that, occupation, don't need it. Interesting, but don't need it. 17 all the way over here, don't technically need it. I try to get it anyway. If it's not the first time they're registering to vote, were you registered to vote in another state? If they were, get their former address. Whatever they can remember is fine. They can't remember the whole thing, just whatever they can remember. 18 and 19, almost. I don't think I've ever filled them out, but someone's re-registering because they changed their name due to marriage. Then you'd fill those out. List former name, father's name or mother's maiden name. And 20, are you willing to work at a polling place on election day? Great if they are, but don't need that if they're in a rush. and an email address. Make sure to get that. Then hopefully you've already filled these out first thing. If you haven't, definitely get them now because you need them for this form to be valid, that they're a citizen and that they'll be 18 by November 3rd, 2020. And then just need their signature and date. And when you hand it to them, make sure you have the date ready to let them know so they don't just sign it. A lot of times they sign it and hand it back without the date. So just let them know what the date is and they can put that on it too. And then 3 steps and you're done. Behind this, you can see there's this remove to expose adhesive thing down here. If you lift up this top sheet, behind this is a carbon copy of the sheet. So you very carefully, pull that apart and give them the carbon copy. They keep that, that's their receipt, and you keep this top part that you just filled out. Definitely remember to give them, oh, whoa, what? That's weird. Put some lines on that. Didn't mean to. I didn't know I could even do that. Interesting. Sorry, I'm scribbling on the form.
That's not no good anymore.
It's no good anymore. I ruined it. Sorry about that. So yeah, definitely remember to give them a sticker. For saving the world, you get a sticker. Even hardened killers like getting a sticker. And it says I registered to vote today. So it keeps the conversation going too. Someone else will ask them about that, and that's another person we've touched. We'll have stickers for you at all our voter drives, by the way. So receipt, sticker, and then sign them up I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. At the back of your clipboard, on every clipboard, there will be a sign-up sheet that looks something like this. And we just say, hey, and would you like to get 1 email a week with some, voter drives like this, where you can hang out with amazing people like myself and you make a real difference fighting Trump. If they say yes, get their name, email, phone number, and that helps us build out the organization. That's super helpful. So yeah, receipt, sticker, sign them up. If they're still hanging out, give them 1 or 2 sentences of basic education. Best things to make sure you get out are Mark Kelly. Try to say his name 3 times if you can. I say, ooh, Mark Kelly. Have you heard of Mark Kelly? Oh, Mark Kelly is the Democratic candidate for the Senate. And he's a former astronaut and fighter pilot. He's amazing. And we need to get Democrat Mark Kelly in the Senate. And so get Mark Kelly's name out and let them know March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, is the presidential preference election. Do your drinking after you vote, and may not be appropriate to say to a college kid, use your discretion. But get those 2 things, March 17th and Mark Kelly's name, get those out and you're doing amazing. And one last thing, and then I'll get to the questions. And by the way, thank you everyone. I'm sorry we went over. I talked too much, but thank you for bearing with me. We're really at the end, and then just some questions and next steps. But yes, so expectations wise, if you're out there for the first time and just getting used to this process, and or your hot spot turns out to be a cold spot, and you don't wind up registering anyone in the 2 hours, but you talk to 20 people who walk by, which is that's a conservative estimate. That's 1 every 6 minutes or so. You're going to probably talk to more people than that. But say you talk to 20 people and you let them know, March 17th, please vote in the presidential preference election. Senator Mark Kelly, got to vote for Mark Kelly for Senate, Democrat for the Senate. You get those 2 things out to 20 people, you've just done an amazing canvassing shift. That's what canvassing is just making connections with people and getting out this important information. So when we go out to a high traffic area, we basically let the canvas come to us, and that's, you've done something great. Not just trying to make you feel good, it really works. If you register 1 or 2 people in a shift, that's what most state parties ask of their paid people. So good, If you register 3 or 4, that's super solid, and 5 or more, you're a monster. So, you know, these are soccer or hockey scores we're looking at, not basketball scores. And that context is super important because I hate when people, you know, don't give their volunteers a good training, and someone comes back and says, "Oh man, I only got 6. I feel like a jerk." You know, oh my God, that's amazing. That's huge. These numbers add up, you know, to more than basketball scores. They add up to thousands, 15,000 so far, enough to swing elections. So also remember, every time you register someone, you're not registering a vote, you're registering a voter who is going to potentially vote up and down the ballot for the rest of their lives, affecting hundreds of elections, you know? So yes, you at the end of your voter drive, you go back to base camp, hand in all your completed forms, or if you're doing this yourself, you take pictures of the forms or scan them and send us those scans and then mail them in. We can help you through those steps also. And yeah, now you know everything that I know.
Hey, we did it in Fresno. We did it in Virginia. We can do it in Arizona.
Yes, thank you for mentioning Virginia. Oh my God, that just recently, you know, we won both state houses in Virginia, and we now have a Democratic governor in Kentucky. That blows my mind. Andy Beshear, right, beat Matt Bevin by 5,000 votes. If you're wondering if every vote counts, that's a field margin right there. 5,000. That was accomplished by every single person who wrote a postcard to Kentucky or made a call or canvassed or registered voters. That's us. That's the resistance. So, any questions? And let me go through the questions in the chat also. Oh, felon voting laws. That's a good one. In the state of Arizona, after if you've committed one felony only, after you've done your time, including probation and parole, and you paid any fines, your rights are automatically restored and you can be re-registered to vote. The way I handle that is when someone says, it's not that uncommon, you know, you ask someone to help me save the world from Trump. They're like, I'm a felon, I can't. So the way I handle that is I say, oh, okay, well, you know, if it was just one felony, and I leave a little pause in there, and sometimes they say, yeah, or, you know, and then I let them know I can re-register them if they've done their time, paid their fines. Or, you know, if they say, oh no, I just murdered a few people behind that bus. Oh, okay, have a great day. You know, we're good. That's how I deal with that. And let me see. Students living at dorms are often PO box addresses. Yes, that's true. That's true. When we're at my dog's gonna start barking because my wife just got home. Let's see if we can weather this. If not, I may be going downstairs real fast with you guys. So yes, when we're at big schools, like community colleges are great and there are top spots. Hey baby, how you doing? Hey. Everyone from Arizona says hello. If we're at community colleges, most of the kids live nearby in the area and don't change their addresses that often. If we're at a bigger college like ASU or NAU, Flagstaff, you know, then it does ask for, you know, this situation does require a little conversation just to let kids know that it's great they're registering. This is, you know, I'm just telling you this now. I'm not saying this to the kid, but when we register them, even if they're going to be changing dorms by next year, it's great because it gets them in the mindset that there is something called voter registration and they need to be registered in order to vote. That's huge. We also get a full information set, full data set from them, including hopefully email and phone number. That's also helpful. But then let them know that yes, if they're going to change dorms, then they need to get their mail forwarded and then re-register at their new address. there is, let me see, there's something I have here from NAU, actually. Let me share this. It's this addresses this exact question. Let's see, is this the right thing? There it is. This is specifically for NAU. Oh my God, look how prepared I am. Residence address, this is where you're currently living in Coconino County. So this is the name of your dorm or the street address of your residence. And then the mailing address is where you receive mail. Most dorms on NAU campus do not receive U.S. Postal Service mail. So you'll need to indicate a separate mailing address, such as your NAU PO box number. And then they specify that if you want to be a full ballot voter, able to vote in federal, state, and local elections, down to local, that's important. Then you need a driver's license number if you're going to be local, or all these other kinds of ID. And then this turns out you don't actually need to do that to register. And you get a voter card after your registration is processed. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, you can do that. Or, if you write in the chat, I can actually send you a copy of this if you'd like it. Yeah, let me see. Let me check out the chat, see if there's any other questions.
I had a question about the bottom of the form.
Yes.
Where it asks for your signature. My recollection is in California, when you're registering voters, you're required to sign that. Is it the same deal in Arizona, or how does that work?
No, here we go. I'm going to go back to the form so you can see that. On this form, it actually, let me blow it up. There we go. It's only if the person, here we go. It says if you're unable to sign the form, and this is the form's addressing the voter. If the voter is unable to sign the form can be completed at your direction. The person who assisted you must sign here. So if the person is incapable of signing their name,
Got it.
yeah,
Okay.
and sign it for them, then yeah, then you have to sign your name and date. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
otherwise, just in, great majority of cases, you do not have to sign that.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so let me check out the chat. Yes, we fill this out for the people we're registering. If they insist on filling it out, okay. I usually just say, oh, I'm super fast. Do you mind if I fill it out for you? Sure. Yeah, if they insist on it, that's fine. But just watch them like a hawk, because they'll just think they're done and they forgot to put their birth date, which is mandatory, or forgot to put down any forms of ID. It's a complicated form, which is why we're there to help people with it. So yeah, you got to watch them like a hawk and go over it before you let them run away, if possible. Who would we send the scans to if we're in Western Arizona? You would send them. I will send this to you right now. How to send form images in after a voter drive. It's here we go. It's a kind of long thing I just put in the chat. I'm sorry, but it has all the. You'd send it to ft6forms@gmail.com. And you can see that that's in the chat. Or there's a number that you can text the images to if that's easier for you. If you just want to take pictures of your phone and text those. And then there's a 1 minute questionnaire. I swear to God, it really is 1 minute. Super fast. Just what your name is, how many forms you got, how many hotspots you used, and what those were. Just to give us a little data picture of like what's, where we're getting these voters from, and so we know where to go to next time, stuff like that. Let me scroll back up for other questions in the chat. Yes, Julia, great. I'll send you a copy of that guide. Yeah, a lot of people have this question about the alien registration number, because it sounds like you're registering non-citizen. It's alien's a horrible term, but that's just what they call the naturalization number. So it is a citizen, if they have that number. yeah, we can't register non-citizens. It's just a weird name for that ID number. Yeah, any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one more quick one. When we were canvassing in California, one thing that was really useful were they had little snippets about sort of little data about what was going on and kind of some just high level information about the county or the region or whatever. Do you have anything like that, or can you point us to organizations? I mean, maybe Swing Left has some of that stuff.
Yes,
Any
we
thoughts on that?
absolutely do. We have a cheat sheet that goes, or we call it a brief, you know, that's it's in the same conceit as Field Team 6. Here's a brief for you. But yeah, it's basically what you're describing. It's a cheat sheet with just some good, easy talking points about Arizona and about the Democratic Party. And let me just send you the link in the chat. I just have to look for this link right now because I just revised the cheat sheet. I took Martha McSally's picture off it and put Mark Kelly's on it. That was a fun moment. But yeah, that's great. It always helps if we do have a candidate to promote instead of just saying get blank out of office. You know, it's always more helpful to tell people what we like than what we don't. And this way you can show them, you know, I often show people the brief just so they can see a picture of Mark Kelly and just see his name, see what he looks like, and have a good association with it. Here you go. Almost ready. Let me just put this link in bit.ly so it's nice. It's not unwieldy. Here we go. Great. Put it in the chat right now. Make sure it goes to everyone. And yeah, Arizona brief right here. I can actually share the screen so you can see if this answers your question, if this is what you're looking for. Something like that.
Yes, this is great. Thank you.
Okay, terrific. Terrific. Yeah, March 17th, important date for the presidential preference election. And some stuff about Mark Kelly and about Martha McSally. And then on the it's double-sided on the back of it, just have this kind of, sample greetings, to start conversations. Oh, and this is, whoops. Let me just, you won't be able to edit it, but I can. Here's a typo. Don't want to give misleading information. There we go. Okay. That all makes sense now. Good. Glad I saw that. Yeah, it's kind of an informational security blanket, with all these points that you all know already. You live and breathe this, but it can be good just to refer to. Yeah, it's always amazing to me, even as I say it for the 1,000th time to some voter, that there's just one party that's fighting for voting rights, Excellence. Mojave County, great. That'd be great to have this start up in Mojave County. And seems to me it's important to be able where the candidate is today and when they can meet him or her at an event. Oh, to be able to say where the candidate is. Yeah, that would be great. We've reached out. We're trading emails with the Mark Kelly campaign right now. We would love to work with them. And it's just a matter of getting them to figure out a time when we can train all their volunteers, get them on a call, that would be huge. So yeah, that's a great idea to have more specific information about where they can meet a candidate. You can always tell people markkelly.com, to check that out. He has his amazing ad up there. It's a beautiful story of him and his wife, and super compelling story. Made me cry. Made me think like, wow, this guy is really good for Arizona. Oh, thank you, E. Downing. You can save this chat, folks. Click on the dots. Remember where you save it. That's terrific. Thank you so much. The dots, meaning the 3 horizontal dots at the very bottom. On the bottom right, click on those dots. Save chat, it says. It's the top option. And, I just saved it. Thank you, E. Downing. Awesome. I'm here for anyone's questions, but in case anyone has to go, I just want to let you know, like, we're officially adjourned. Thank you so much for being here. You're awesome, and we can absolutely flip Arizona for the Senate and White House, and flip some LDs while we're at it. Arizona is on its way. It is purpling up every day. Yeah, and so we're going to flip it. We're all going to flip it, by helping out you amazing Arizonans who have been organizing this whole time. And, so we just want to help however we can. So it's awesome. Let's do this. We got less than a year. I'm going to start knowing the daily count soon. Not looking forward to that, though. Also, everyone, just want to say enjoy the first public impeachment hearings tomorrow. Don't know how many of you will be getting up early like I will, like Christmas morning. See how they go. But those impeachment happenings, those impeachment hearings would not be happening if we hadn't won back the House a year ago. So good job with that. We made this happen. Yes, thank you all. Awesome. And so it begins. Yep. We're going to do this. Yes. So join an existing voter drive. I'll put the events link just one more time in the chat in case you missed it. Join an existing voter drive. You can come to a train the trainers call. This is kind of the first level call. Train the trainers is, if you would like to run a voter drive that answers all your questions about that. I'm going to put that link in the chat also. It's like level 2, a 201, call. And yeah, you are absolutely empowered to do this now. You know how to do this. You can take another training whenever you want. We have these training calls once every 3 weeks, approximately. And, we'll keep doing that till November 2020. And yeah, sometimes it takes a couple, or, it took 3 for me in the beginning when I first started, there was a guy named Christian Asperius who, after the Trump election, he's amazing. He's now one of my good friends, but he was a voter registration prodigy for the Obama campaign in Florida and then in Nevada. I think he registered the most voters in those states. And after the Trump election, he started going around LA County like Johnny Appleseed and giving these free voter registration workshops. And I followed him around like a Grateful Dead groupie and went to like 3 of them in a month and a half or something, and got the patter down and got my courage up and went out and tried it on my own with a couple friends and registered a few voters, not a lot, but it was amazing. It worked. We had these forms, these magic pieces of paper that turned into Democrats in these swing districts, and I got addicted. Just super, super satisfying. And so, yeah, so if you want to take another training call, absolutely,
But you showed us how to sign ourselves up for either individual trips or group trips. down to either Tucson or to Phoenix, right?
That's right. That's right. Actually, do you want I can show you the screen right now? I'm going to click on this events link and let me share my screen. Here we go. So that's what that looks like. Here's our events page. And, you know, we're in all these states right now. So it's very confusing to most people, very thrilling to me to just scroll through it. But yes, you can filter right here, show me any kind of event on any day, anywhere. So I'll click on anywhere and I'll just say Phoenix. You can say Arizona in general if you like, but I'm gonna just click Phoenix and search and it'll show me coming up. We have,
Wow.
yeah. Proud of that. So here's 6 times between November 18th and 19th. There are 2 different shifts you could sign up for. You know, here we're going to try to, we're going to try it. Don't know if it's possible, you know, but we're going to try to register 1,000 Democrats in a week. We've registered 472 in 2 days recently on a Monday and Tuesday, just a normal Monday and Tuesday. Amazing. That blew my mind. I still don't understand how. I mean, there are a ton of great community colleges in the Phoenix metro area, and you can put 5 volunteers at each one. There are 12 Maricopa County community colleges. You know, we haven't even maxed out what we can do there. So yeah,
That gives us some dates that we can focus on for organizing ourselves around.
absolutely.
Great.
And again, if you have, there's this button. Okay, here it is up in the upper right. I have pled with Mobilize. This is the event platform, this website, Mobilize. I pled, I don't know how to say that word. To make this host an event a big button, big and noticeable. This is the entire point of my life, is to make people click that button and host their own events.
Okay.
Don't make it so subtle, you know? Why? They won't do that. But if you click host an event, I suddenly feel like a wave of euphoria wherever I am.
Oh, so we could host our own event, say from Santa Cruz down to Tucson.
Absolutely, you can.
Pick our own dates.
Oh my God. Yep, you can. You keep talking.
So I think we'd want to talk to people around here what dates we'd want, and then find someone down there to get the materials from.
Yeah, we have a field director, Gil Weir, is who you would get the materials from. And I can put their contact information in the chat right now, which I should always do as a matter of course. So I'll put our, I'll just say Phoenix area field director is Richard Doc Gooding. I call him Doc. Everyone else calls him Richard. He told me he prefers Doc, but then he introduces himself as Richard to everyone. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Oh, it's a good one.
Salud.
Yeah. Here we go. Yes, so you can absolutely do that. And let me just scroll down the page. You put the event title in. Event type would be voter registration. It comes, you know, auto-populated with a you know, just description. You can use all of, or, you know, tweak it, modify it however you like. And what? What? How did that blue thing appear? Oh my God, someone's doing that. Who's not me? I don't know how that happens.
Could be static electricity.
That's bizarre. Wow, I need to find out how to do that. Or if I am doing it. Okay, now, okay. I'm just not going to think about it right now.
I think there's a button at the very top that has a pencil in it. I don't know if that's it or not.
Oh, annotate. Oh, someone's annotating it. Maybe by accident. Interesting. Okay, that's hilarious. So actually, let me just give you this in the chat. Phoenix area field director Richard Doc Gooding, and Tucson area field director is Gil Weir. And let me get his email right here. Yeah, both these field directors are super helpful, great organizers, and incredibly charming. And we'll, get you everything you need as far as clipboards and stuff like that. Yeah, so back to this screen where you enter your own event. You can put in the location, where your base camp is, where people are going to meet to start and get a little training and get their clipboards and go out. If it's, say your home or someplace you want to keep private, you can check that so that only people who RSVP get the exact address. Here's where you choose the date of your event and a start time and an end time. Usually it's about 3 hours, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., something like that. Max capacity. If you, don't want your first event to be too big, and you only want no more than 30 people to show up, or 2, whatever you want, you can put that number in there. Event contact phone, additional info for attendees. If the location meets ADA standards for accessibility, that's a nice feature to have. If you want your event public, that goes on our calendar feed. So if you're trying to recruit for your event, we can absolutely help with that. Our Mobilize calendar is posted also on Swing Left National's calendar, and as well as I think 8 or 9 other organizations. So we can help recruit for your events if you like, or if you only want people to see this who you send the link to. Say you have a small group and you don't want strangers, riffraff coming to your events, only people then you could click that, and then you'll get an event link and you can just send that to who you want. And when you click host this event, that will go to us for approval, and someone, 95% chance it's me, will see that event very quickly. I'll get a notification and check that event out and see if there's something, I want to modify in the title or something, and then approve it. The title sometimes, I like to have registered Democrats somewhere in the title or something like that. If someone submits an event title and it's just like registered voters on Tuesday, or some, bad title, like all lowercase, no punctuation, then, I might spruce it up a little. But yeah, then I'll approve it, and it will be live on our calendar or not on our calendar if you want to make it private. And then we make you, and I'm getting into, some details here. This is a really great question. My favorite question. We make you the owner of the event. What that means is you will be able to, we're here to empower groups on the ground, and hero organizers like yourselves who are doing this work. So we make you the owner of the event, which means you get access to the back end of the event. You can get all the sign up information for any of the volunteers, email and phone number, and you can communicate with them all directly from that event. I can show you what that dashboard looks like. Here we go. You won't see all of these because this is my dashboard. Man, that annotate, the blue marker is annoying. Can I get with that? Here, all drawings. Hey, there we go. Okay, sweet. So yeah, let's say this is your, Dan McCool submitted this event. He's our field director for Pennsylvania. So he has access to this event. I'll go in and show you what he can see, what you could see if this were your event. You see this display, and this is all the details for this. If you want a specific image, you could send it to me. I could make that the image for your event. Absolutely. If you want to brand it for your group, for example, like we're not we're not you know, egotists. Our goal is to empower you. So if you want to brand it for your group and mention Field Team 6 just in the description of the event, or even not at all. I mean, ideally you mention it at some point, you know, even at the very bottom. But you know, that's all fine. And here's the location. It gives you all this information. So the contact information would be your phone number and email. You know, don't have to put your phone number if you don't want to. But it is helpful to have some phone number on there if people need it to contact you for an emergency. And then you'll see, you know, you may only have one shift or two shifts, but this event is actually 5 days in a row. We can see who's registered, who's been confirmed, who's completed their shift. One of the great things about Mobilize is they send out automated reminders, so you don't have to do that. That's like one of the biggest pains in organizing, is just calling people to remind them. You don't have to with Mobilize. So Brett, you're awesome. Thank you so much. See you later. Thank you for being on here. Contact me with any questions. So yes, let's say I want to look at this shift coming up. This is tomorrow. He's in Philadelphia right now. I love this guy. Dan McCool is his real name, by the way. Not a cartoon character. So you click on that shift and it shows you this. It shows you the 3 people who've signed up, their numbers and emails. Oh, all these people canceled. Not so great. This shows you when the automated messages go out. So if you set up an event, you know, this event is on the 12th. So the day before the event, there's a reminder that's sent by email and text to everyone who signed up. And then the day of the event at 8 a.m., there's a second reminder sent just by email. And then there's a post-shift survey that's sent to them by email and text saying, did you have a good time? You know, any feedback? You know, so Mobilize is terrific in that way. If, say, you had a last minute change of location, oh, that coffee shop burned down, we need another one. You'd hit email attendees, and that you can email, you know, all 3 of them. Email every attendee who's completed it or unknown, or, you know, this is, if it were, if people hadn't canceled, it would show people who have registered, people who have confirmed. You know, you can email any set of those. And if this is confusing, I can walk you through it. And then you can send a message, you know, a change of venue, and include what the new venue is or anything like that. Communicate with everybody right from this page. So it's really intuitive and helpful. And if this is confusing because it's the first time you're seeing it, I can absolutely walk you through any of this. So we're going to go back to full event details. And yeah, that's if you want to do another event after this, you can duplicate the event so you don't have to redo the entire thing. It's super easy. And all you do is change the time and date, and you have a new event. Yeah, so any questions? Did I answer everything? All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to sign off unless anyone has anything else. And let me make sure. Julie, I need to send you something. I need to send you the NAU thing, right? Absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, could you put your email in the chat so I could send you that right now, the NAU thing? Thank you. That's a big help. Awesome. Cool. I will do that right now. There we go. Cool. All right. Thank you everyone so much. I'm going to go. Yes. Let me know when you've got remote phone banking. Oh, excuse me. Yes, we do. Actually, Field Team 6 doesn't, but we work with people who do. At the Grassroots Democratic headquarters, there's a woman named Tamara Levinson who will be overjoyed to help you do that. She is absolutely driven. She is the queen of phone banking, and will help you set up remote phone banking. I'm going to put our latest newsletter, link to that in the chat right now. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, which is other phone banking and letter writing, I believe, it has the link for that. Awesome. Yeah, that's great. It's a great thing to do. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for being on here, and I hope I see you soon out in Arizona. I go out to Arizona about once a month. I think I'm going to skip December, but I'm going to be out there at least once a month, every month from January to November, or October at least, you know? So yeah, maybe I'll see any or all of you out there. All right. Good night, everybody. Go have some dinner and some Tums because it's late. All right. Bye.